Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Samuels. Today we're going to talk about order of operations. Most of my students that come into my classroom have learned order of operations as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And I want to show you guys a different way of how to actually write this and remember it so that it actually makes more sense and you can get the correct answer. So I want you guys to start writing it as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And the reason why we're going to write this like this is because multiplication and division are exactly the same. They are not important more than the other, as well as addition and subtraction. Addition does not always come first before subtraction. So now let's do some examples. If you've never watched a math video, a math kind of how-to video, I'm going to show you guys how I want you guys to use this, and I'm going to tell you guys when to pause the video so that you can try these after you have watched me the first time. So if this is your first video, watch me do everything first, and then I want you to come through and pause the videos to try these questions and these problems on your own. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is this one right here, 5 plus 8 divided by 2 minus 7. Now you'll see on my piece of paper, we're going to end up doing 3 problems. And look at how much room I have used on my paper. So please feel free to spread out your problems. I don't expect them to be shoved in all together. I need you guys to space them out. Also notice that I've wrote, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, 3 times because we have 3 problems. And I'll show you how you're going to use that tool. All right, so let's focus on this one. So the first thing that we need to look for are parentheses. I don't see any parentheses, so I know that I'm already done with that, so I'm going to put a check. Next, we need to look at exponents. I don't see any exponents in here too, so we are already done with that step as well. So look at that. We've already went through half of the order of operations. Multiplication and division. I'm going to go from left to right. So I'm going to start here. I'm looking for any multiplication. Nope. Or division. Yes. This is the first one, so I'm going to do this one first. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I always write this with a different colored pen or marker or whatever you have. And then this is the tricky part. You're going to rewrite everything else that hasn't been used. So I didn't use the 5. I didn't use the addition sign. I didn't use the subtraction. And I didn't use the 7. Now I'm going to go back through, and technically I could start all the way back at the top. I don't have any parentheses, I don't have any exponents, I don't have any multiplication or division anymore, so now I'm down to addition and subtraction. And I'm going to do this from left to right. Left, here's an addition sign. 5 plus 4 is 9. I didn't use the subtraction, and I didn't use the 7. And now I'm down to my last step. Addition and subtraction, 9 minus 7, and that is 2. So your final answer is 2. Now let's work on here and go down to a little bit more trickier problem. I have rewrote my please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and I'm going to continue to check off all of the boxes. First one is parentheses, and I see lots of parentheses. When you have more than one parenthesis, you're just going to handle them both kind of at the same time. So I'm going to start with this one, 9 minus 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. And then I'm going to come over here, and I need to continue to work left to right. I cannot subtract 1. I cannot do 1 minus 6 because that's after this one. So I need to continue to work left to right just like you're reading a book. So I'm going to do 6 minus 1, which is 5. And now I'm going to rewrite everything that I didn't use. Because I did everything in these parentheses, I'm not going to use the parentheses down here. I didn't use the subtraction. I did not use the minus sign or the 6, and I also have parentheses still here. I have to bring down the parentheses or else I would get this problem wrong. I still have parentheses, so I'm going to continue to work inside of those. 5 minus 6. 5 minus 6 is -1. I did not use the minus, and I did not use the 6. And this should be a -1 in the pink if I'm going to continue to do this. Now, I like to think of this as a negative times a negative equals a positive. So I show my students this. We do it with our hands, but I'm just going to do it with my fingers. A negative times a negative is a positive. So now this becomes a giant addition. So 6 plus 1 is 7. So my final answer is going to be 7. Okay? All right, last problem that we're going to do together, and you're going to see that it's kind of scary, and that's okay. I've continued to write my please excuse my dear Aunt Sally over here. I'm going to first work with my parentheses. And I see that I do have some, so I'm going to do this first. 2 times 9 is 18. And now every single step, I need to rewrite all of the numbers that I did not use. Notice that I'm also skipping a line here. I'm using a lot of paper, but I'm getting the right answer, and that's all that matters. And I'm going to rewrite everything I did not use. Sometimes when these problems get really big and scary, I use a sticky note and I cover up all the old stuff because that stuff doesn't matter anymore. So now I can come to here. I do not have any more parentheses. I'm going to check that off. Now I go to exponents. 4 to the 3rd power is like having 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And I'm going to, again, rewrite everything I did not use. My exponents are now done. Multiplication and division. I'm going to go from left to right to look for them. Nope. Yes. 64 times 4 is 256. And I do not expect my students to know that off the top of their heads. Feel free to do some work off to the side. I love to see that on my students' papers. Next, I'm going to do addition and subtraction from left to right. And again, I'm trying to keep with my colors here, so I want to write that down. Addition and subtraction from left to right. 2 plus 256 is 258. I didn't use the addition or the 18. And now 258 plus 18 is 276. And that is my final answer. Now what I want you guys to do is go back through with this video, and when you go to the problem that you see, I want you guys to pause the video before I do the work so that you can see if you can also get the correct answer. My little guy is up now. Hi, Ethan. So again, go back through, pause the video when I start each problem. You do the work on your own and then follow along with me to see if you did the correct work. All right, thanks guys for tuning in. This is Order of Operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.